Hi friends, it's Grace and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing a review of Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee, who is the author of the Greenbone Saga, which is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. So I was very excited to learn that she was coming out with this new fantasy novella that is coming out, at least in Canada, on April 11th. So you should be seeing this video just before this comes out, and my hope is that based on what I'm able to tell you here about the novella, it will help you decide whether or not you're interested in picking it up. So first I am just going to read the synopsis for the novella and then I will get into my review. So it says, Esther's family was torn apart when a manticore killed her mother and baby brother, leaving her with nothing but her father's painful silence and a single overwhelming need to kill the monsters that took her family. Esther's path leads her to the king's royal muse, where the giant rocks of legend are flown to hunt manticores by their brave and dedicated rookers. Paired with a fledgling rock named Zara, Esther finds purpose and acclaim by devoting herself to a calling that demands absolute sacrifice and a creature that will never return her love. The terrifying partnership between woman and rock leads Esther not only on the Empire's most dangerous manticore hunt, but on a journey of perseverance and acceptance. So, out of 324 reviews so far, this has a 4.25 stars on Goodreads, which I think is pretty fair. I personally gave it 4.5 stars, which I rounded up to 5 stars on Goodreads, but I just want to thank NetGalley for approving me for the electronic arc of this because I'm extremely glad that I did get to read it. So first, let's talk about the plot. Because this is a novella, of course, that means that everything is a little bit more compressed and we do get right into the plot. We jump into it right away, which makes sense. And I really enjoyed that because Fonda Lee's writing, I think, lends itself really well to that kind of quicker moving feeling, but she has the skill in her writing to still make you feel the emotions and everything that she is presenting. So the plot for me was not actually the strongest point of this book, however, it was good. So like the synopsis mentions, we follow Esther on her journey with this fledgling rock named Zara and how she trains Zara and builds a relationship with her in order to develop her into a rock that can hunt manticores, basically for the king, and she's part of the royal muse, which is a chapter that does serve the monarchy in this world. So I don't want to say too much more about it in detail than that, but for me, the plot moved along very well. It was well plotted out because it made sense. There was a real feeling for me of progress at every point. I enjoyed how the novella was divided into not exactly chapters, but sections that each had a title that was symbolic of kind of the theme that was being explored in that section, and I enjoyed the culmination of the plot, and I think that Fonda Lee did choose a good size of story for a novella. Now, the next thing to talk about, which is the pacing, it does go quite hand in hand with the plot, especially in a novella, because like I mentioned, things do have to move along in order to get them done in such a short page count. This is about 160 pages, which was basically quite sufficient for the story being told while also being full of action during those 160 pages. And I think that she did a great job of balancing the events of the plot with the emotional development of our main character and a couple of the other characters that we experience, which of course leads me into talking about the characters. So of course we have our main character Esther, and then her rock Zara is very much also a major character, even though Zara is of course a bird and doesn't have internal thoughts that we're privy to. She is still a focal point, because of the fact that so much of Esther's life and emotion revolves around this relationship that she is building with Zara, and we really get to explore how a Rooker builds the relationship with their rock and how this works. And we get a few other characters that are kind of like important, but they are very much side characters. But I was impressed by how Fonda Lee managed to build the relationship between Esther and a few other Rookers in the Royal Muse, just because of how much of a limited page count that she had. I do think that although there was plot to this, she focused on characters in a way that I really like in my fantasy, and so I loved to see that emotional development and the kind of like opening up of characters to each other so that they can form a bond, and how that bond grows based on their shared love of rooking and rocks, and also the backstory in each of the characters' lives that kind of led them down this path in their life. So I definitely found that to be a strength. But the final thing that I am going to talk about in this review is my favorite part of the novella personally, and the thing that I felt tied everything together, which is simply Fonda Lee's writing. And so that sounds like such an obvious and simple thing. Like, of course, the writing is the vessel in which you're experiencing the story, so it's gonna be important. But for me, I just didn't realize how much I missed Fonda Lee's writing until I opened this book. Like I mentioned, her other series, the Greenbone Saga, is a personal favorite for me, but I think that because Fonda Lee's writing and her prose is not necessarily flowery or fancy, it's easy to kind of gloss over it a little bit more and not forget that I liked her writing style, because I know I do, but maybe just forget like why it impacted me the way that it does. And it was very evident in this kind of like shorter form, the impact and like kind of the snappiness of her prose. Like, it's not long and drawn out, but it's her word choices that are very much the strength. And this is a similar thing that I have said about Daniel Abraham as an author in the past, where they are not doing anything fancy, really. Like, and their prose isn't simple either. It just strikes that perfect happy medium where they are kind of like flexing their muscles in terms of vocabulary, but it's in a very cut and dry sense where the choice of words like leaves you feeling impacted by the sentence, but you're moving along. You're not ruminating or spending a lot of time on any one thought, but they are just so succinct and concise that they can convey what they're trying to convey in such a perfect way in such a short amount of words. So I hope that makes sense, because this truly just reminded me how much I love Fonda Lee's writing style, and I've seen a few more average reviews from people on this, and so I can understand if they didn't find the plot or the other parts to be a strength, why they might not like this as much. But I liked those things. I wouldn't say that I loved them, but what I really loved was just the experience of reading from her again. And so I did end up like thoroughly enjoying and loving my experience with this novella. So I tried to be a little bit more concise because this is such a short book. I didn't want to be too long-winded. But if you have any questions, please feel free to comment, and I'll do my best to let you know what I think without any spoilers. And I hope that this helps you decide whether you're interested in picking up Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. And this is a book that should be released tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it because I did pre-order it, so I should be getting my copy, and I hope that you're excited about it too. So that is it for this one. please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you would like to see more content from me. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, and as always, I will have my joint Discord with Ben and socials linked in the description if you're interested in any of that stuff. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!